There is not a liberal America and a conservative America. There is the United States of America. There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
Back when he was trying to get everybody to like him. I don't think Barack Obama even likes America. I know he hates Trump. Oh boy, does he hate Trump. That speech that made him extra famous, he didn't mean a word of it. All right, not a word of it. We have proof that he was out to sabotage an administration, the Trump administration, to delegitimize it, and it's still important. It's all the way back in 2016, but are we just going to, long time ago? No, they were trying to cancel a president. They can cancel a president, we're all in trouble. And they kind of came close. All these lies, the collusion, that was totally a lie, that was proven to be a lie. And now we're learning all this stuff about even, well, the Kremlin, unquestionably, they preferred Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. I mean, that's without question. No, that appears to be another lie, actually. And what they tried to do is taint President Trump. Like if Putin likes him, something must be wrong with that. Even though all kinds of countries, for all kinds of reasons, have preferences, the Kremlin, like the New York Times and everybody else in the world, assumed Hillary Clinton was going to win the election. Didn't turn out that way. They did not think in their wildest dreams that they were going to be able to elect Donald Trump. It kind of reminds me, in 2004, bin Laden. You know, there was a lot of talk about bin Laden. Every now and then, bin Laden would put out a message saying something negative about Bush. Bush was the president back then, right? And everybody would kind of get excited about that. And Bush would point out, hey, if he doesn't like me, I must be doing something right. And then Kerry would take umbrage at that. And, you know, what does that mean for him? Does that mean that he's getting endorsed by bin Laden, the #1 terrorist in the world? These maniacs across the globe are going to say what they say. We have to do these things on our own, pick our leaders on our own, and not have an intelligence agency, forget the Kremlin, the CIA meddling in elections. So to recap some of the documents that we have uncovered over the past few days, and some have actually been public for a while, they said pretty unequivocally that Donald Trump was the man of Putin. Russia's goals were to undermine public faith in the U.S. democratic process, denigrate Secretary Clinton, and harm her electability and potential candidacy. This is the Obama-directed 2016 election assessment, declassified just the other day. We further assess Putin and the Russian government developed a clear preference for President-elect Trump. Folks, this is not true. They violated their own protocol. They lied about the intel they had. It's kind of amazing, and we have the proof. Keep going, though, with all this stuff that they were pushing. We also assess Putin and the Russian government aspire to help President-elect Trump's election chances, when possible, by discrediting Secretary Clinton and publicly contrasting her unfavorably to him. This is stuff out of, well, the political fantasy land, folks. This is not true. They wrote this document to damage President Trump. Their own intelligence actually blows this stuff right out of the water. And what's worse, they keep pretending that they wrote this with high confidence, a high level of confidence. Next, please. Yes, CIA and FBI have high confidence in this judgment. NSA has moderate confidence in this judgment, but they have confidence, right? No. We have high confidence in these judgments based on a body of intelligence reporting in the public behavior of senior Republican officials and state-controlled media. The state-controlled media line joined together, that's a typo from the intelligence community. This is not true, all right? They did not have high confidence. They were making it up, and they made sure that the analysts who wrote this stuff were the analysts they could count on to write the stuff that the Obama administration wanted in order to taint President Trump and to sabotage his administration. They almost pulled it off. Keep going, please. So now we have the truth, all right? The CIA picked 5 CIA analysts to write this intelligence product, this ICA, and rushed its production in order to publish 2 weeks before President-elect Trump was sworn in. They wanted to dirty him up and send a message to the entire swamp. These are the documents we just got today from Tulsi Gabbard. They were produced in 2020, and they are spot on. Keep going, please. The CIA ignored or selectively quoted reliable intelligence reports that challenged and in some cases undermined judgments that Putin sought to elect Trump. So you can't put it in the final report. Keep going. The ICA, I got to figure out what that actually stands for, intelligence something or other, misrepresented these reports as reliable without mentioning their significant underlying flaws. You can't do this stuff in government. One scant, unclear, and unverifiable fragment of a sentence from one of the substandard reports constitutes the only classified information cited to suggest Putin aspired to help Trump win. I know this stuff is in the weeds. You got to go through the documents, right? It doesn't necessarily sound like smoking gun stuff, but it is. They violated every protocol they've got, every rule. They just blew it off and wrote what they wanted and pretended that it was solid intelligence. Next, if you don't mind. Putin's principal motivations in these operations were to undermine faith in the U.S. democratic process and to weaken what the Russians considered to be an inevitable Clinton presidency. It's kind of squished together because these are right from the documents. The ICA misrepresented these reports as reliable without mentioning, again, their significant underlying flaws. So you get all this? They thought that Hillary was going to win. Yeah, maybe they wanted to mess with her a little bit, undermine her presidency, that kind of thing. This is what our enemies do to us. Anyway, it's all out there for everybody to see. Do we have one more? I think we might. Go ahead and advance. The CIA failed to consider plausible alternative explanations of Putin's intentions indicated by reliable intelligence and observed Russian actions. So, look, if you're in the political business, these are high crimes and misdemeanors almost, right? You're not supposed to, especially in the intelligence world. They wrote this to dirty up Trump. And now we know the truth, that they were making all kinds of assumptions and leaps that they had no basis, no business doing. I want to jump down to Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard was at the White House today, and she was great. You know, she's been under fire from time to time. I think it's been rather unfair. But she put all this together and is letting the public see it. And that's transparency, and that's valuable, and I so appreciate it.
They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people. John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory.
Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment.
Well, that's dynamite stuff. And it's very much in keeping with what we know at this point about Obama and about the intelligence community. One of the most damning and fascinating things ever said in this country's history, this guy, Chuck Schumer, 2 weeks before President Trump was sworn in for his first term, I didn't know that we, the people, somehow work for the intelligence community, and if they get mad at us or our elected representative, like the president, he's in trouble and we're in trouble, but apparently that's the way it works.
He's taking these shots, this antagonism, this taunting to the intelligence community.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them.
So they're getting back at him by calling him a Russian spy and exaggerating all these reports. And they had motivation. The intelligence community, Obama, the rest of them. President Trump's real sin was defeating Hillary Clinton. Nobody expected that. The New York Times, the mainstream media, Russia, they didn't expect that at all. But the signs that he was being undermined by the deep state, by the establishment, by whatever you want to call it, were evident very early on. In fact, during the inauguration itself. So they have put the word out. They did to the establishment, the Pentagon, the state, everybody, that President Trump was somehow not to be trusted. Watch the president deliver one of the most powerful lines of his inauguration speech in 2017. And why the hell are the troops talking and walking around behind him and then turning their back on him? It's an omen.
For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. Politicians prospered.
What the hell just happened? Why did they walk out mid-speech, muttering to themselves, hey, let's get out of here. Let's split. Yeah, we're gone. Now, who gave them those orders? The commander-in-chief is speaking and a bunch of junior officers walk out in the middle of the speech? Are you crazy or what? Again, an omen. It wasn't just people in uniform. Everybody, the word went out. Harm this president. Harm him because he's illegitimate. How dare they? They took a portion of his services, right? He had to defend himself constantly from this stuff. And I think that's how you get Obama and the rest. There's something about depriving citizens of the services of our elected leaders. There's a law that has been applied before, not in this exact scenario, but hey, look, they found a way to prosecute President Trump over nothing. This stuff is something, and I think a good lawyer could figure it out.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.